Here is an interesting device by Deye. This is a balcony ESS, an energy storage system, but it's not just for balconies because it has various functions. You can put it on the balcony, connect PV panels, and connect this device to the grid. Then you can power your house from the solar panels, and it can also store the energy generated by the solar panels. The second option is that you can use it as a UPS, so you can charge this device from the solar panels or from the grid and then use it to power other devices. And if you have power from the grid, then it will bypass this power directly to the device. And when there is no power from the grid, then within 4 milliseconds it switches to its own battery power and the device continues to work without any interruption. So it's basically a UPS with the added option of charging from solar panels, and you can use it as off-grid energy storage. Or simply as portable energy storage. You can charge it from the grid, you can charge it from the solar panels, take it with you somewhere else, and you'll have portable energy storage. So you can use this device in several scenarios. It can deliver an output of 1 kilowatt through the AC port, and its storage capacity is 2 kilowatt hours. But you can connect up to 5 devices in parallel, so in total you can have 10 kilowatt hours and you don't have to buy 5 complete devices. For example, it works like this. You can just buy the battery modules, so without the inverter or the top part, which is cheaper. And you can connect up to 4 battery modules to this unit, which provides a total capacity of 10 kilowatt hours instead of 2. And it also has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, so you can communicate with it from the cloud or from your smartphone, but it also has a built-in screen. So you can see all the information on the screen. Let's unbox it and see what comes in the package. The device weighs 26 kilograms, so it's quite heavy, and they took that into consideration. So to unbox this, you just open it upwards. We don't have to lift the device out of the box. Instead, we can lift the box off the device. On top, we have manuals in English and German, and this is the main device. And now we want the top part. It's easier to take it out from the bottom because there are handles on the sides. And at the bottom, there are some additional items. Here we have a cable to connect the device to the power grid. So it's a standard AC plug with the other end connecting to the device. Next item. Here we have a CT sensor that we can connect to the grid at the output of our home. If we want to configure the device so that it doesn't send any energy from the house to the city grid, we can place this sensor on the cable. And it will ensure that no more energy is output than what the house is currently consuming. So it will control this and make sure that no energy is exported from our house. But this is optional. You don't have to install it. And the last item, right here we have a specialized tool for disconnecting these MC4 connector plugs, and we get 4 MC4 ends because this device can support 2 separate strings of panels, and we receive these plugs. Because not every single MC4 connector is identical in design, connectors from different factories are not always fully compatible. So it's always the safest possible option to connect 2 MC4 plugs from the same factory. This ensures they are definitely compatible with each other and won't create a potential fire hazard risk. Therefore, the safest method is to use the MC4 connectors included in the package. Attach them to the cables from the solar panels and then connect them to the input ports of this device. That way they will definitely be compatible with the MC4 connectors on this device. Because if you have MC4 connectors from another company, especially if they're cheap ones, they might not work, they might fit, they might not fit, and they could create a fire hazard. So it's good that they've included their own MC4 connectors, which are definitely reliable. Here, we have another tool and the metal parts inside the MC4 plugs, and that's everything that's in the box. Let's remove the protective cover, and this is what the device looks like. At the front, we have the screen on this side. Here are the MC4 connectors. These ports can support up to 2.2 kilowatts of solar power. Here is the handle, and here are the battery in and battery out ports. they are protected with this screw. So when you don't need it and it's on the balcony, it's protected from the rain and safely closed with this screw. On the back, we have the specifications, information, and the certificate. And on the other side, here we have the main grid block. So we connect this cable to the first port. The second port is for CT, so we can connect this sensor to the second port. Next are the parallel ports, which are for communication between the battery modules. And the last thing is the AC output. It is also secured with a screw, so it won't accidentally open. But if you want to use the device as a UPS, then you can unscrew it and connect devices directly to this unit. Or if you don't need the UPS function, you can simply connect it to the grid using this cable, and it will supply power to the entire house on a single phase. And at the bottom we have USB ports, USB-A and USB-C. They are standard ports, not high power ones. So the USB-C can support 15 watts and the USB-A 12 watts. So enough for charging regular devices, but for charging a laptop, it's not enough. But you have this AC output, and you can just connect a fast charger to this AC output if you need a high power USB-C port. And it has an LFP battery, so a modern, durable battery that is safe and should last for 6,000 cycles. And then it should still have 80% of its capacity left, so it should be durable for many years. So let's turn on the device and connect it to the Deye cloud. And let's try the UPS function to see if it works within those 4 milliseconds as they claim. And then let's put it on the balcony and test charging the grid from solar power. Let's connect this cable. And let's power up the device located on the side. And the device is now successfully turned on. We have power from the grid, and according to the screen, it's currently drawing 0 watts. I've turned on the inverter, so this top part, but the battery module has its own power button on the side, so let's also turn on the battery. Now the battery is turning on. And we see the battery symbol at 50, and it's currently drawing 12 watts from the battery. And let's open the manual. Here we have the packing list, the load board, so this AC plug and all the ports are listed here. Port information details. From 25 to 60 volts on the input MPPT, between 20 and 55 volts, 2 MPPT trackers, and 1+1 strings per MPPT tracker with MC4 connectors. How do you assemble them? Connecting to the grid, this CT port for 0x port, the battery ports, and the system diagram. We will cover working modes, powering on, the display, and the Deye Cloud mobile app with information about the app. We will see what we can control using the app, all the parameters, application modes, the connections and specifications of the extended battery module. Finally, we will discuss connecting additional batteries, troubleshooting, certificates, and the full specifications of this device. So all the information you need is included in this manual. And now let's connect this device to the cloud. I've added it to my installation and configured its Wi-Fi. You can see the Wi-Fi icon in the corner, and it is detecting the device in the app. Here, the microinverter, and we can see that it is connected to the grid and is online with the type Flexibly ESS. We can see all the parameters from the PFO, from the AC, and we have access to quick settings and professional settings. In quick settings, we have 2 modes, self-consumption mode, and you have a description of this mode. And we can set reserve capacity and maximum export power. And the second option, forced charge mode. And now let's switch over to it to charge the battery. And now you can see the battery is charging from the grid when I switch the mode. And the diode is showing that right now it is charging. Let's go to the professional settings, and here we have many more things that we can configure. So there are things that we shouldn't change, like the battery type, because this is LFP and it won't have another type. But we have options like work mode, green power mode, fully charged mode, and customized mode. And you can customize everything you want in this device, so you can easily configure it however you like. And there is also an option to bind a LoRa device. And we have the available graphs, production, grid, consumption, day, month, year, lifetime. We can see all the data. Let's disconnect it from the grid. The power grid is disconnected, the battery is not currently charging, there is no load. So it's now off-grid. The app will update in a few minutes. But let's try the UPS mode, so when it suddenly loses power from the grid. The output port should work all the time, so let's see if the UPS function is working. I have to unscrew the two screws on the side to unlock this AC port. And now I have access to this port. And so I have an 800 watt heater. It can output up to 1000 watts, and for 10 seconds it can output up to 2000 watts in off-grid mode. So 800 watts shouldn't be a problem. And additionally, I want to see on the oscilloscope how fast it will switch. In the app, you have information that this is off-grid right now, so let's connect it back and I will switch it back to self-consumption mode. Let's start up the heater and see if it will work in bypass mode or if it will first draw energy from its own storage. I've set it to a level of 400 watts and we have the UPS on. And we can see it is currently drawing energy from the house and in UPS mode actively supplying it to the load. And what if I manually switch the operating modes to force charging? Now the device is charging and it is drawing significantly more energy from the house because it is supplying power to the UPS output and also charging the battery. Let's return once again to the first mode. At this point, there is a significantly improved connection to the oscilloscope. And when I enable the external power from the grid. Right here, we can see the symbol representing the power grid. And it should soon switch from battery power and enter the UPS mode. It is currently waiting to make sure that the grid connection is stable and correct, and that it is safe to use it. Now we have the UPS indicator. And it switched back to power from the house once it verified the quality was good. And it could safely switch back to it. So it is working as a UPS. And now let's place the device outside on the balcony and see if charging from the solar panels is functioning correctly as well. Before that, I will show you the details of this graph. I'll tell you how I configured my device, because depending on how you configure yours, you'll get different results. I've connected my device to solar panels and to the house grid. Nothing is connected to the load UPS port. And I've set it to always export power from this device to the house grid whenever possible, but with a maximum of 200 watts. It couldn't export more than 200 watts to the house. So when the battery was empty and the solar production was less than 200 watts, everything was exported. But when the solar production was higher than 200 watts, only 200 watts were exported. And the remaining surplus energy was used for charging the battery. And later, when the battery was fully charged and the solar power dropped down to a level below 200 watts, the remaining energy was drawn from the battery until it was fully depleted. And the minimum battery level is set to 10%, so there is always 10% left. And as a result, on a bright and sunny day, this is exactly how the graph looks for us. You can see the green peak where the solar energy production reached a peak of up to 550 watts. But only 200 watts were actually exported back to the house. A total of 200 watts and another 300 watts were used for charging the battery, and later, when there was no longer any sunlight available, it started discharging from the battery. So this short peak of solar was converted into this long, flat, 200 watt export to the house, because for me, a constant 200 watts was more useful than 500 watts for a short period of time. But for your situation, you can configure it to fit your needs. This was an example from my situation of what this device is capable of, and it worked without any problems. The way I configured it using this manual was useful. Every parameter that I could set was described right here. So it was easy for me to know which parameter to change and how in order to get the results I wanted. And that's all for today. Like, subscribe, and be nice.